ladies and gentlemen, it's back to school time. You finally had a chance to go and get your school supplies. Now for language arts, you really only need three main things. 2 composition notebooks. You'll see that mine are college ruled. That doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. It's really more of a personal preference. And 1 folder. Now you can see I've just got an old one. This isn't something that you need to go out and buy a special one. It's whatever you have available to you. Now, obviously, the first step is to go ahead and write your name on all 3 of these items. Now that I've written my name on all 3 of these, the next step is to start labeling them more specifically. Let's start with the folder because it's the easiest. We're simply going to write language arts on top of this folder. Next up, let's take one of these notebooks. This notebook is going to be our literacy and vocabulary notebook, or our LV notebook for short. Make sure you spell literacy correctly. You can put vocabulary or vocab for short. The second notebook, the final object we need to label, is going to be our writing notebook. We're going to do all sorts of journals in here throughout the course of the year. Let's go ahead and start setting up the inside of our writing notebook. Now I'm going to use a pen purely so that it's easier to see on the video. I still expect you to be using pencil. Now the very first page, we're going to label it Writing, Table of Contents. Now, you're going to notice that your notebook already has 2 pink lines, one darker, one much lighter. We're going to use those as the boundaries for our columns. This first column is going to be page. The big middle section is going to be name. And this final tiny column is going to be the date. Every time you do an assignment in your writing notebook, you're going to want to fill out your table of contents with the page number it's on, the name of the assignment, and the date that you completed it. The next step is to start setting up a page we would actually write on. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is our table of contents is probably going to overflow onto the back right here as the year goes on. So go ahead and leave this whole page blank. So turn to the next blank page on the right-hand side. Here we're going to set up an example layout. We'll never use this page. We will never write a journal on this page. But anytime you're confused about how to set everything up, this is the one that you'll turn to, all right? Now, the first step is always to write the date. Now, we'll write the date in this top right-hand corner, okay? Then we'll title our writing assignment, right? You will write the title on that very top line. You'll write it kind of big so that when you're flipping through, you know exactly what's going on that page. Anytime you do a writing assignment, I want you to write down what you were supposed to write about, or the prompt, right? The prompt, the T, will go right here, and you'll write it in, okay? You can do some squiggles as a placeholder there. Underneath the prompt, you will start writing. Now, every time you do a writing assignment, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rubric that'll tell you what the expectations for it are and how long your writing assignment should be. Right? You'll have to start paying attention to the length and the quality of your writing, because the higher the quality, the higher your grade. To keep you organized, to put this in your table of contents, you always are going to want the page number. Now, we've already written the date in this top upper corner, so we're going to have to put the page in the bottom corner. Right? So make sure you put the page number there. It's my recommendation that for homework, you sit down and you number your pages the whole way through so that it's not an issue later, because that's something that people tend to forget, and it's a really easy thing. There is the full layout for a writing journal page. Now that you have this example, we're ready to start writing assignment 1. So go ahead and turn to that next blank page. I have no issue with you using the backs of your pages. If you don't use the backs of your pages, you're gonna run out before the end of the year and end up having to get a second notebook. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and number this as page 1. I know it's not the first page in your notebook, but it's the first page we're writing on. So let's number that page 1. Let's put the date up here, 8/29. This is writing assignment 1. Now, for writing assignment 1, the prompt is up on PowerSchool Learning. And remember that you had 2 different prompts to choose from. You could choose between what about middle school is stressful or what has been the best part of Wiley. I don't need you to write down both of them. You are choosing one to write about. So you're going to write down whichever one you chose. So I'm going to choose what has been the best part of Wiley. So I'll write that down in the prompt. All right, now that I've written the prompt down, I'm ready to start my writing. Recall that on the directions for this assignment, you were told that it had to be at minimum a half a page. So I'm going to go ahead and make that mark on there so that I remember. Okay, half a page, bare minimum. Now, keep in mind that if you're doing bare minimum work, you're going to get bare minimum grade. As you start writing, make sure you're paying attention to whether or not you're using capital letters, periods, all of the important parts of a complete sentence. You have to have a subject. What is the sentence about? A verb. What is going on in the sentence? What is the action? As you write, make sure that you're constantly referring back to this prompt. You don't want to get off task. You want to stay focused, right? It is totally okay to start writing and then scratch something out or erase it, right? I highly recommend using pencil so that you can go back and make those changes. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're going to be doing lots of writing assignments in this notebook as the year goes on. I hope this introduction about how to set up your writing notebook was helpful. Again, for any questions, please let me know. Please like and subscribe to get more video updates about how we're progressing throughout the year.